Welcome to the Table Talk with Toddy podcast. Today we are joined by my very own lifestyle photographer, Kristen K.Marie Gordon. She is co-founder of Brown Girl Talk and an award-winning lifestyle and commercial photographer who produces vibrant visual narratives about dynamic women of color and their most loved brands. After graduating from the University of South Carolina, K.Marie picked up her first Canon camera as a hobby and began capturing an array of images, which developed her interest to learn how to authentically capture her Black and brown clientele in natural light. In 2017, K.Marie left her corporate job to follow her passion full-time and now travels across the country building brands with exceptionally influential women of color. People say that content is king. Well, I say great photos are his queen. Did you know that studies show adding a photo to words, ads, or your website increases click-through rates by 42%? Let's put it this way. Great photos are the initial gateway to your perfect client, customer, or brand partner falling in love with you at first sight. In today's episode, K.Marie and I clear the air on why taking pictures is much more than just pretty outfits and a smile. We discuss what's included in a properly planned photo session and how to invest smartly and get a return on your investment. Grab your pen and notebook because, honey, it's time to go to school. Let's go. Everyone, it's Natasha Toddy Weston, entrepreneur, content creator, and 3 times best-selling author. Let's scratch the titles. I'm just the girl next door. If you follow me on social media, you know I'm all about being an open book, bringing current events from the real world and my world to the table to give my sisters from other misters insight, wisdom, and real talk about life, business, and all that other ish. The reason I created Table Talk with Toddy is because I spent the last decade mostly online talking to people, more specifically millennial women all around the world, about the ups and downs that come with building a brand, being a mom, and having a personal life. And what I eventually realized was that we all have many of the same questions, curiosities, and challenges. So here we are. On the Table Talk with Toddy podcast, we'll laugh, we'll cry, and I'm pretty sure we'll be pouring it up together on many occasions. It's about time that you got a relatable, unapologetic view on life as a creative living in the 21st century. On this show, you'll hear from some of my close friends, family, and guests that I've learned a thing or two from over the last decade. Get ready for some ahas, mm-hms, and yes, girls, because at this table, nothing, and I mean nothing, is off limits. Be sure to subscribe to the Table Talk with Toddy podcast right now on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to leave a rating and review. Welcome to the show, K.Marie. Thank you so much for taking some time out to speak with us today.
Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to talk to you. Listen, the people have been asking for this episode. So if I didn't nail you down and figure out how to get us on this podcast together, they might have haunted me down kind of like the Beehive. So I'm glad that we were able to coordinate schedules finally and have this conversation.
I know, right?
Yes. So I did a similar episode on what we're going to be talking about today, which is essentially how to properly plan a photo shoot back in 2017. So obviously the episode is dated, but the content is still very relevant. It's like evergreen. Mm-hmm. So I used to shoot once a year, like meaning take pictures once a year. Now I shoot with Kristen. Y'all, let me put a disclaimer out there. I will probably call her Kristen a few times, but she goes by K.Marie. So I used to shoot once a year. Now I shoot once a month with K.Marie. Mm-hmm. And I invited you on this show today because not only are you a qualified award-winning photographer, but y'all, she's the one behind 90% of the super amazing and beautiful and melanin-filled photographs you see me posting on social media. And y'all, those accolades are beyond deserved, just FYI. I think it's very important for me to constantly share my network with my community, because while you guys may be learning from me through this show and this platform, I actually learned so much from K.Marie and my team. Now, in the last episode, we had my website manager, Jasmine Easter, on, and that conversation really set the foundation for what Kristen and I will talk about today. Now, if you haven't checked that episode out where we discussed the visual ecosystem of a beautiful and winning personal brand, then hop over to tabletalkwithtoddy.com to catch up, but obviously after you listen to today's show. Now, although episode 18 covered a lot, today I wanted to pretty much share with you how to properly plan your brand photo shoot from a photographer's standpoint. So before we dive in, K.Marie, can you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yes, sure. So I am K.Marie. I'm a photographer for women of color here based in Charleston, South Carolina, but I am a travel photographer. So I am traveling across the states to capture beautiful women of color and their brands and all the essence of their glory.
Awesome.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. And she does such an amazing job at that, like,
Thank
seriously.
you.
So I'm honored to have you on this show today to kind of just give the people some nuggets, because I'm telling y'all, every time we shoot, she teaches me something new. And like literally, I've learned pretty much everything I know really about pictures and shooting from K.Marie. She teaches me, y'all, how to pose, and most importantly, she's taught me how to properly flip my hair. So if you don't know how to properly flip your hair, then you definitely need to book a session with K.Marie, because she will get you all the way together.
Yes.
So that's like my favorite part. Like the first time you taught me the hair flip, I think I had that ponytail. And when we met again, I was like, look, I learned how to flip my hair. And I'm like flipping my hair. So like just little things. Yeah, like little things like that. It just makes for a better work environment as well. Mm-hmm. So let's start off by kind of talking about maybe some of the myths about quote unquote taking pictures. A lot of people who don't know much about the new era of influencing, so there could be a lot of misconceptions about why we take pictures. And oftentimes I feel like it's associated with being vain or trying to be a model. People just automatically assume that you're trying to be a model. So I know why a good picture is important, but can you tell us in your, I guess, version, why a good picture is important for someone trying to build influence and or position themselves more efficiently in their respective industry?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really, really simple. I mean, when you go to someone's brand, that's the first thing you do is you look at their pictures, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure you are the face of your brand. So whatever you are selling or whatever you are trying to influence or whatever it is, you need those professional pictures to match what you want your brand to be, what you want your audience to see, and how you want them to connect with you. So many times I've seen influencers where they start out, with the selfies or, things like that. And I mean, social media is evolving, period. I mean, everybody has basically professional pictures now, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just extremely important to make sure that if that's the direction that you're going toward, if that's what you want, to have this professional look about you when you go to your website or your social media or whatever, you have to have professional images.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. I think it is the thing that separates you from everybody else in the beginning part of your relationship, I guess, with, whether you're trying to attract a brand for a brand deal or whether you're trying to attract new clients and customers to your business. It's kind of like the thing where they say, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we do that. Just as humans, we,
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I'm looking for a service provider, 9 times out of 10, not saying I'll necessarily hire the person with the better images, but I'm probably going to do more research on that person first, just because our first point of contact it felt good. As a human, we're attracted to things that look good, obviously. So I just feel like it is the first point of contact. And you mentioned selfies. I guess depending on what you're trying to do, selfies won't necessarily get you a brand deal in the beginning. It probably won't attract customers to you. or to your business. So I just wanted to bring that up because, you know, even now, I haven't been in this whole influencer space for a long time. But I do know that, like, when people, even like family members and some friends, they're like, why are you taking pictures so much? Like, they don't really get it. So I have to explain to them that this is how I'm starting to make money. And I have to have, you know, not a perfect image, but a polished image.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because
like, nobody's perfect.
Take you seriously.
Yeah, like, they won't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when it comes to, like, this is so funny because I was looking at meal prepping and things earlier this week, and I even look at pictures of food. Like, if it's off their cell phone, like, no, sis, I want some, I want some professional images that I'm looking at to make sure, you know, that's exactly what I want.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right. You're most definitely right.
Definitely. So if they're telling y'all that you're not being judged, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. And, you know, it's easy I can see how people would have those assumptions. But when you think about the bigger picture and what you're trying to achieve, then it kind of makes you look at taking pictures in a different way. Right. So for the person that may have a more behind the scenes I guess profession, like someone like even a makeup artist, I feel like nowadays makeup artists are even starting to catch on that, yeah, I'm working behind the scenes, but it's important for me to have a image or something that's more polished so I can continue to build my business.
Absolutely.
Would you say a photo shoot or a session is a must in our current society if you are in a behind the scenes role, and why?
Dang, Natasha, that's some good.
Because I know you work with a lot of influencers. You work with a lot of people who are behind the scenes, but I'm pretty sure you've had at least one or two clients who may not necessarily be in the limelight, or maybe at the beginning of y'all's relationship, they didn't necessarily truly see the value in having, you know, that imagery that positions them in a better way.
Yeah. Honestly, it's most definitely, I think it's important to have at least one photo session, like you said, like once a year, or when you change, you know, maybe you changed your hair or you lost a lot of weight or whatever it is, you need some professional images, because even if you're behind the scenes, people are still attaching a face to a brand these days. That's like, I need to see you. Like, I feel like when you see someone's, like, their energy and their personality and their photos, that's what kind of attracts me to them, whether they're behind the scenes or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to work with you? And that's kind of how I figure out whether I want to or not, you know?
Very true.
Even if it's just makeup artists, like, let me capture you working with your client. Like, do you play music with when you're putting on makeup, you know, on your clients? Like, do you vibe well? Do you dance or whatever it is? Let me show that to your audience, because that they may very well get you a client versus them going to someone else.
Very true. So you brought up a very important point that I think we should highlight even more, is that even if you are in a behind the scenes role, you may not think, okay, I don't need pictures. I'm not trying to model. I'm not trying to showcase a product. But you are showcasing your energy and your personality, which to me, when I hire a service provider or someone that's behind the scenes, that's really what you are basing your purchasing decision off of, is that person's energy and their personality. Like, and I think I've told you guys this story before. I've worked with a few photographers in the last 10 years, and Kristen, hands down, has been the only person to date that our energy and our personalities just make sense. I've worked with photographers in the past where I get on set and their energy was off, which made my energy off. You know, it was just, and it showed in your pictures. Right? It showed in the pictures. Yeah. So you definitely brought up a really good point about energy and personality. That's really, if you are behind the scenes, that's why it's important, is to showcase that, because obviously, you know, if you're traveling a lot or doing a lot of makeup or whatever it is that you're doing, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not on Instagram stories and doing videos like we are, right? You know, so it's harder for people to kind of catch your vibe just off of, you know, pictures that you may post every now and again. And I know I hired K.Marie after looking at her website, her Instagram page. Like, it kind of just, I could capture her vibe just from her images. And so I think that that's, you know, something else that people also kind of take into consideration is like, do I really even need this? So I just wanted to highlight some myths and some things that I know people have approached me about since I've started doing these sessions more frequently. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about the thing that everybody wants to know about. And that is, what should I know before hiring a K.Marie, or how should I properly plan? Because anybody can take pictures, y'all. Anybody can hire a photographer, but but that's not all that it entails. When it comes to planning, it can be extremely overwhelming, especially for somebody that's never done it before. For me, I found that having an overall goal in mind for why you're taking the pictures is the number one thing here. So that's my personal number one thing. So do you have like an overall goal setting tip, or how to set a strategy in mind for someone who's never planned a photo shoot, or maybe someone who's just starting a brand or venturing out a little bit more and they want to hire you for a session? What would you tell us is the reason for having an overall goal or strategy for, you know, before they hire someone such as yourself?
I would say you have to figure out what your purpose is before even going to a photographer, before even seeking, you know, which photographer you want to choose, all of that. Figure out first, what's my purpose? Like, what do I want to do with my brand? What do I want to say? Like, who do I want to reach?
Yeah.
You need to figure out all of that before you even reach out to the photographer. Because that's, if you are working with a professional, like a branding photographer, that's one of the first questions we're going to ask you. Like, okay, what's your vision? What do you want people to see? What do you want them to know about you? Right. Because a lot of times people just think, oh, we just show up and take pretty pictures. And it's you can just with your phone. Like, you literally, you know, this iPhone 11, sis.
That thing is bomb. I need one.
Okay. It is like,
I need one. Let me write that down. I need to add that to my list for the year.
Right. But seriously, you know, if that's all you want to do, like, you can do it on your phone. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to hire a professional, know off jump what exactly is your purpose? What's your purpose? And then it kind of flows from there, you know, as far as like, okay, so say I'll take, well, shoot, a makeup artist, since we were talking about makeup.
Yeah.
Since, you know, someone who's more so behind the scenes, but they need a branding image, right? They need some images for their brand. If they've never had a photo shoot before, I would ask, okay, what do you want people to see? What do you want them to know? Like, do you just want to be like a general makeup artist, or are you specified to a specific, like, it's a celebrity, or is it weddings, or you know what I'm saying? Something like that. You need to figure out that so that I can portray that in your images, like execute your vision effortlessly so that people aren't wondering what it is exactly that you do, you know?
Right. And I always say, like, everybody does not need a coffee shop picture, because that's not, you know, if you're doing hair, why are you sitting in a coffee shop sipping coffee? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, now it might be a cute picture for, you know, Instagram or whatever, but that's not a branded photo shoot. Like, that doesn't tell me what you do. It doesn't tell me what your brand is, who you are. Like, no.
Right. So to go off of what you just said, you said know your purpose, know why you're taking the pictures, because anybody can just show up and take a pretty picture for Instagram. But when you do know your purpose, it also helps K.Marie to help you scout a location, because if you are a makeup artist specializing in wedding makeup, then maybe having you at an actual venue for your shoot would be more, it'll help you to paint the story that you're trying to tell better than doing it at a coffee shop, just because we're talking about coffee shops.
Right. Or even if it's at their, you know, studio, we could, like, bring in your friends. Boo, somebody gonna be a bride for the day. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
And have, like, the bridesmaids in the background, like, you know. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That'll definitely help me with scouting locations, just overall knowing what it is that I need to prepare
To
for.
prepare for, right. So,
Yeah.
and it helps when your team is on the same page and everybody knows what the outcome should look like.
Yes.
When one person, let me tell y'all something. If your photographer isn't on the same page with you, you just might as well flush your money down the drain, because they're not going to know what should come out on the other end of their camera if you don't tell them what you are trying to, what story you're trying to tell, pretty much.
Right.
Everything, and I talked about this in, I think, episode 69, everything is a storyline. So what story are you trying to tell in your pictures? So that's just really important. So one thing that I want to share that we do is every time Kristen and I start planning a shoot, we share a Pinterest board. So I think about what my goal is for the shoot. So am I trying to showcase a ponytail? Am I trying to, get a particular brand's attention? Like, what type of vibe am I trying to give off in my pictures? And then I go and I just find pictures on the internet or on Pinterest, and I'll put them on a board and I'll share with her and say, hey, this is my goal. This is what I'm trying to do. Here's some inspiration. So she can be thinking about like poses and, different, variations of how she wants to shoot when we actually get on set. So that's been something that has helped as well. Another thing that I recommend is trying on your looks from head to toe before the day of your shoot.
Say that again one more time, sis.
Oh, you like this one, huh? Okay.
Yes.
Try on your outfits from head to toe. I'm not saying try on the shirt and the pants and be done. I'm saying if you're wearing a wig, plop the wig on with the shirt, the pants, and the shoes, and the watch, and the bracelet, and the sunglasses too, from head to toe. Because just because you ordered something online and you like the way it look in the picture on the internet does not mean it's going to translate when it's on your body. You need to know that before you get with K.Marie.
Yep. Yeah. Because listen, I've had, experiences where they did not prepare that well. I guess they did not put on their full outfit. And then once they did at the shoot, they didn't like it. And so now we're wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not in love with it, you're not going to like the images. So not only have you wasted your time buying the stuff and coming here and doing you're going to waste my time because I don't want to have to edit all of these and you don't like them. You know what I mean? You're not in love with them.
Exactly.
That is one thing that I tell my clients all the time. You probably heard me when we were like looking at the images at the back of my camera, like, are you in love or do you just like? Because I'm not about to sit here and just
yeah.
Snapping pictures that you just like we need to be in love with this. So you absolutely try on everything from the wig down to the shoes, everything.
Everything needs to be tried. I'm telling you, it'll save everybody the headache. And it also, when you don't love what you have on, it shows. Like everything shows. And I'm sorry, K.Marie, whoever else you hire, they can't edit out lack of confidence. That's impossible. So try on your outfits, get as comfortable as you can, and once you're done work with K.Marie a couple of times, you could even swing your ponytail in the mirror and figure out how you want to pose too. Like, I'm serious. I think, was it our last shoot when we did the rooftop with the graffiti in the background? I had already knew that I wanted to do like some different poses than we had been doing before. So like some down on the ground and like I had already had like an idea visually, and I was able to show her that so that we were just on the same page. And I think we went from shooting our first shoot, we might have shot close to the 2-hour mark. But our last shoot, we shot in like an hour and 15 minutes because we were on the same page. She knew what my outfits looked like before we got. Anytime I decide on an outfit, I send it to her before we shoot. She knows what I'm wearing before I get there.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
That helps a lot because in my mind, I'm already thinking of poses. Like you said, the poses and even scouting locations like, ooh, that color will look really, really nice against that statement door. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I feel like the more information that you can give your photographer ahead of time, the better the shoot's going to go and the more quickly it'll go. Because who wants to, like you said, be shooting for 2 hours? You're probably really gonna love 15 to 25 images, maybe.
Yep.
And opposed to coming in, an hour, getting 2-3 outfits in, maybe, and be done.
Yep. Very true. And
Yeah.
the goal is to have, when you know your photographer sends you the gallery, the goal is for it to be hard for you to pick the images
Right.
to retouch. That's the goal.
Right.
The goal is not to have one or two that you love or halfway love, and then the rest are like, the goal is to have a gallery that you can choose from for years, and if you want to use them for years, like for whenever, like not just have one or two that you like, because now you spent money on your outfit, your hair, your photographer, your makeup, all to just like two images. Like,
right.
That's not, smart. Y'all know I'm all about being smart with your money and like saving and really spending wisely. And that's just not the way to do it. So definitely those are like the top two things that I think helps us all out. And to take it a step even further, I'm getting a new website, and K.Marie and Jasmine have been, the three of us, like it's been like magic, because it's been like magic, because even Jasmine, we are getting ready to shoot the actual images for the website coming up, and Jasmine compiled like a PDF document with what kind of images she needs to properly finish my site. So I sent that to K.Marie. So now K.Marie knows what kind of images we need, which means we now know what type of location we need to find. So all of it works together. Planning is very, very, very important. Just because you find a photographer that's cheap doesn't mean that the images are going to get you a return on your investment. So planning properly will help you to avoid wasting your time, wasting your money, and wasting your energy. So those are some good tips. So do you have any other things that you're surprised potential clients don't know about before taking pictures that you wish they knew before, other than the ones we talked about?
Yes. I would like to mention grooming.
Yes.
And I guess this goes with preparing and grooming, like even your clothes, like ironing or steaming your clothes, all of that. Because what happens is, you'll come in, you have outfit changes, and I see clients like they'll just throw their second look in a bag, like maybe it's a linen dress or something, and it's in a bag, and I'm like, oh, inside I'm cringing.
Yes,
like,
nightmare.
Oh my gosh. Because I guess they expect me to edit all that out. I'm like, no, So, like you have to be prepared. Like some of my clients, they even show like on their stories, they'll do like behind the scenes of how they prepare for shoots. Like they're steaming their thing down, like, because you don't realize like the camera catches what even the human eye sometimes don't see.
Yeah.
And I can't emphasize it enough that you have to like literally prepare for what you want your pictures to look like. If you want to show like all the wrinkles and stuff, and that doesn't matter to you, cool. But if you want the polished, professional, chic look, then you need to prepare for that and not expect the photographer to take out every single wrinkle or you know what I'm saying? Like not even try, put in effort to make it look polished.
Very true.
You gotta meet us halfway with that, because we can't make a miracle like that. Like
yeah, for real. And you shouldn't rely on editing, because you're someone, you particularly photograph women of color, and we want our pictures to be as close to the natural state of the picture as possible. Right. The retouch is literally what it's called, a retouch. It's not to make you look like someone else. It's not to remove it, it's to just retouch the image and make it just look a tad bit more polished. It's not to alter it. And I think that's important. It's like you said, the energy that you put into your images, into your shoot, is what you will get in return. And I think some people just miss that. So grooming, makeup is also, I think, important. If you depending on what your goal is, if you want that polished look, I suggest not cutting corners with that either. If you know that you want a made up look, and you're not, you don't really know like what types of powders to use, so you don't get that flashback, then hire a makeup artist, because that can ruin your entire session. Yeah. And so there are
gallery of pictures that you do not like.
Yeah. And then you're mad at the photographer because the pictures didn't turn out right, when they were the ones that just took the pictures. You prepared for it. Like, come on, sis. So
can I tell you how many times? Oh my gosh. So I have this I'm in a photography like chat group, right? And so many stories have been told, like, this person either didn't hire a makeup artist and like did it themselves, or they went to a cheap makeup artist that, and they didn't like any of their images and was mad at the photographer. And I'm like, yo, you have to take accountability. Like you said, put the energy in that you want put out as well. Like, invest. It's an investment. I feel like sometimes people will just think, oh, these are just pretty pictures, right? No, if you're serious about your brand, like if you're taking this for, whether it's for your business or if it's like a blog or whatever it is, if you are taking it seriously, you can't cut corners with it. You have to invest in yourself because that's the only way people are going to believe and invest back in you.
Very true. And people can tell when you have invested not just money, but energy. They can tell.
Absolutely.
They can tell. And like you said, a lot of your clients show behind the scenes preparation. I've started doing the same. Like people see me properly, folding my looks or putting what shoes go with what. I've started to show that because I'm not just waking up on shoot day and saying, oh, I think I'll wear this or I'll wear that. Right. No, this has been thought out weeks, if not a month in advance. Right. I know exactly what look I'm going to use for what caption. Like sometimes it's that detailed. I know.
That's serious.
Yeah, like it's that serious for me because I know me personally. As a new influencer, my goal is to capture brands' attention. Brands won't hire me if I'm not already investing in my images. Period.
Absolutely.
Like I can't expect them to cut me a check if I'm not cutting a check to get quality content.
Right.
It's just it's so you can't, like I hear it all the time. Oh, I want to do this or that, and it's like, have you even taken the first step? If Target comes on my timeline tomorrow, does Target translate my page to high quality?
Right.
Like you have to think about who you want to work with and make sure that your pictures are something that brand would be interested in. So it's definitely an investment. So speaking of investment, let's kind of shift gears because this is the thing that I guess people want to know. And I think when people consider taking pictures, rather it be for their business, their brand, whatever, it doesn't seem necessary, I guess, to add taking pictures to the list of expenses that will come or that comes with being a creative. I know ever since I made consistent investments in my brand visuals, I have seen the return on investment, like hands down. I have brands that are on my dream list to work with that like my pictures consistently now, that inbox me and say, hey, what wig are you wearing? We want to share this on our page. Sending me emails. Hey, we would love to work with you on A, B, or C. Why? Because they see the investment that I'm making without them even paying me up front. Like they see that I do genuinely love the brand and I'm already investing in quality images. So that means if you do hire me, I'm going to do the same, if not more. So I see the return on investment hands down. It's much more than the typical headshots that I feel like when people think about a photo shoot, that's what they think about. Oh, just headshots. So what would you say, after working with a lot of different clients, what would you say has been like the maybe number 1 or 2 return on investment that they've seen from investing and working with you?
Really, their clients.
Right. Okay.
It's like expanded their business even more. I guess because, it just all goes back to you are the face of your brand. You're the face of your brand. So when clients, like, say you're a stylist, right? But you don't have any professional images, I'm not probably...
Yep.
I might need to do more research on you, or I may just go to somebody else that has that chic look that I'm already kind of desiring, right?
Right.
So I feel like once you put that energy out there and you invest in yourself and put out what you want back in return, that's when it just grows and it flourishes even more.
Absolutely.
Whether, like I say, you're a stylist or a makeup artist or whatever it is, you got to put yourself out there and like you already have what, you know what I'm saying? Like you already have what you're asking for, what you're wanting.
That's very important. Very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point. That even that might be another misconception, K.Marie, because maybe people think, oh, because I want to be a personal chef, but I haven't actually booked any clients. Well, paint the picture. So that
Okay.
just is what you just said, is put yourself out there
Yeah.
and, use your pictures to tell the story that you want to be told about yourself.
Because like you said, even if you don't have any clients, that shouldn't stop you from putting yourself out there. Get your friends. Hello. Your sister, your cousin, whoever. And they can be, the mock clients or the person that you're, catering to or whatever it is. And the people, the target audience that you get later on, they're not gonna know that those are your friends, your close friends in your circle right now. Like, oh, she just took pictures with her friends. Yep,
but they're not your clients anyway, so it don't even matter what they think at the end.
Exactly. So yeah, girl, I used to use my friends all the time. Okay.
Yep. Me too.
Like all the time. My friends, my sister, my nieces and nephews. When I start my dog, like.
Yep.
I used what I had until I could do better.
Very true. You got to paint the picture because, again, the image that accompanies the story you are telling is the first point of contact between you, the potential client, the potential customer, the potential brand. Whoever it is you are trying to attract into whatever it is you're working on, it starts with the visual. I'm sorry, I know what people say, but it starts with what we see with our naked eye. And I feel like we can control that aspect of our storytelling.
Absolutely.
And this is what, as creatives, allows us to continue to be creative, because no one photo shoot is going to be the same. You can tell a different story in every single session if you want to. So there's definitely a huge return on investment. But again, it goes back to proper planning, having a purpose, knowing what your purpose is overall and for each session. Very important. So before we go, I wanted to share just some ways to invest in your shoot on a budget, because I do have a lot of listeners who, like, well, sis, I know you can shoot once a month, but I probably can't shoot once a month. I'm just getting started. I'm trying to figure out, I want to do it one time to see how I like it and to kind of get the feel for it. So I wanted to kind of talk to those people in particular, because I don't want them to be intimidated by feeling like they have to shoot as often as I do. You can shoot, like Kristen said, once a year. Like, start there if that's the case. Once a year, once every quarter is even decent. It just goes back to what your goals are. So my number one tip, you guys, is to, if you want to, I won't even say cut corners, but if you're on a tight budget, my recommendation is to invest more in your photographer and your makeup / grooming than you do with your wardrobe and your hair. Now, here's why I say that. Every photographer is different, but your photographer holds the key. Because if they don't know how to shoot, if they're not qualified, don't have the portfolio, don't have the skill set, it don't matter what you have on. You could have on Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada. And if the photographer doesn't know what they're doing, that's it. That's it. So find a photographer, invest whatever it is that they're charging you, because they hold the key. Listen, you could pick that outfit after you find a qualified person that can give you what you're looking for. Goes the same as makeup.
Go thrifting. Like, it's really like you can make a bomb outfit of going thrifting, or even look, can I borrow your sweater for this?
Exactly.
Like,
rent the runway. It's all kinds of options, but do not go cheap with your photographer. Don't go cheap with your makeup artist. And if you got to go rent a steamer, like K.Marie said, go rent a steamer, because you can't iron everything either. So,
and one thing that I like to mention is I travel a lot. I'm in Atlanta like once a month. I'll go to California, Miami sometimes. I like to have a makeup artist for every city that I go to. Like, that's my go-to person, right? So if the client does not already have an established relationship with the makeup artist, I'm already on it. Like, all right, let's go ahead and book this, because you're not about to come here and, with no
guessing.
Guessing. No. I just can't. I'm not about to sit here and like change the color. I can't change the color of your makeup if it doesn't match your skin tone. You know what I'm saying? Like, things like that. Those are things that you really have to consider. Like, make sure that they know how to do makeup for photo shoots, because that's completely different too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, make sure they know what products they use. Are you oily, or do you have an oily skin or a dry skin? Like, all of that is important. And so when you don't go seek to a professional, it's gonna show.
It's gonna show.
It's gonna show. You don't want that. Yeah, that's a waste of your money.
Very true. I'm telling y'all, don't cut corners with your photographer or your makeup artist. Let me tell you something. My makeup artist, she knows, because y'all, after I had Tyler, my face is a little pudgy in real life. I know that's hard to believe, y'all. But, I feel like sometimes I have the double chin. So I know, and my makeup artist knows, she has to contour me to death. Because, it's not the look I'm going for, personally. Mm-hmm. So things like that, she knows that I'm taking pictures. So if she's doing my makeup for a night out with my girlfriends, it's going to be different than her doing my makeup to take pictures.
Exactly.
She knows that translucent powder got to be on and popping. And when Kristen, if she got it, I don't know if you have flash or not, or whatever you do behind the camera, but we need to know that when we're taking pictures that there's no white flashback under my eyes where my concealer is.
Yep.
But most people don't know these things. So if you take a shortcut, it's going to show. Mm-hmm. So, like K.Marie just said, like, if you got to go thrifting for your outfit, cut corners in that perspective. Mm-hmm. But do not, y'all, invest whatever you have to in your photographer and in your makeup / grooming. Yeah. Now, if you say, well, I don't really have the money to buy outfits, blah, blah, blah. Like she just said, thrifting is an option. I still thrift. I get all my designer clothes from Goodwill. I don't buy them.
That's right.
I don't.
A lot of my clients thrift.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing. Like, you can come out of the store looking like $1 million and you pay maybe $20.
Exactly. So don't y'all be ashamed to do that, because like, who's going to know unless you tell them? Exactly. Another thing that you can do that I did, I know my very first photo shoot many, many years ago, I had reached out to a hair company. And I said, hey, I need some bundles. This is when I wore bundles and not wigs. Mm-hmm. I need some bundles, and, I'm doing this shoot, and it's, at that time, I knew I was going to be featured on Vibe Vixen. That's when Vibe Vixen was a thing. And I was like, hey, this is going to be featured on this website, potentially other websites. I will always give you credit for your product. And the brand sent me like over $400 worth of hair in exchange for promotion every time I posted the picture. So you can reach out to brands. I recommend smaller brands because you're more than likely to get a response. You can reach out to some of these small boutiques and say, hey, if you send me a shirt, I'll promote your brand, blah, 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 blah. But have something to offer, obviously. You can also barter. If you have a girlfriend that's a wardrobe stylist, say, hey, can you help me just coordinate these looks? And I'll do whatever your business is. Mm-hmm. You can barter with them. And again, if money is an issue for you, plan your shoot out ahead of time and purchase your outfits one at a time so that the costs don't seem to be adding up and be super overwhelming. So I talked about that in a lot of detail in episode 18. So again, whatever you didn't get from this episode with K.Marie and I, you can go back to that one as well. But money shouldn't be an issue. Do not cut costs. Get you a K.Marie in your life, because it will change your life. I'm telling y'all, like, it has changed again, I don't know, I always tell you this, but I have gotten so many more opportunities since working with you. And we've only been working together since, August of last year. Yeah. So I see the return on my investment. I'll never cut her out of my budget, y'all. I don't know what y'all doing, but I know what I'm not doing. So because it's a no-brainer for me, because again, when you know your purpose, you know what your goals are ahead of time, and it just makes the relationship working with a photographer so much more seamless. Everybody's on a mission to help you to achieve that goal on both ends. You know what I mean? So it just makes for a better working relationship. It will help you to achieve those goals a lot easier than it would be if you were trying to do it on your own with your iPhone 11.
Right.
Okay.
It's true.
Like, come on, save yourself the headache. So anyway, that's what I wanted to bring you on the show today to talk about. I think we gave a lot of good tips.
Yeah.
and insight from your perspective as the professional. Is there anything else you want to share with the listeners that maybe we haven't covered yet?
Well, I would like to say there's an actual client checklist on my website
Yay!
that you can download. And you go to K.Marie.co. It's a client checklist, and it tells you like how to plan, and down from just planning in your mind, like getting your mind right, to the wardrobe and props if you want, and lastly, have fun. Like,
Yes.
that's probably one thing that I would like to leave this with, is make sure you are having fun. Like, that's what it's all about. I know this is work, yeah, but this is all about showing you and your personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a fun person, that's what you need to show. And so it's not like, people think headshots supposed to be those stiff,
yeah, girl,
back in the day, kind of like, no, it's 2020. Like, we show your personality.
Like, listen, loosen up a little bit.
Yes, flip that hair, sis. Have fun. You know what I mean? Like, yes. That's what I'm about. That's all I'm about. And I feel like I also wanted to go back to what she was saying about having that working relationship. Some people don't see the value in having a relationship with one photographer. They'll go, have this photographer for this, da 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 da. But I feel like once you establish a relationship with someone, whether it's a photographer, a makeup artist, or whatever it is, once you like have those vibes matching, and that person gets you and knows your best angle, or knows, exactly what you like, so that you're not wasting 15 shots of things, of the angle or a look that you're not necessarily going to like. Find that connection, find that bond with, whether it's me or someone else, find that connection with a photographer, so that you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting their time either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Energy is really, really important. Really important. I had a phone call earlier this morning with a brand strategist out in Miami, and she was like, I had to let my photographer go because although she produced great work, the energy just wasn't there. We did not vibe well. And she was like, I want to make sure that the next person I hire, we have fun, we get the work done, and we just keep it moving on to the next, So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, that I would personally suggest having a relationship with one photographer is opposed to going to several different ones, because then your feed is not even going to be cohesive. It's not going to, I'll be guessing like, girl, what is you doing? Like,
let me tell you.
You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Because, some people, like you said, they have different styles. So when a brand comes to you, if you don't have a consistent style, if you don't have a consistency throughout your brand, they're probably not going to hire you. They're probably not going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Because you look confusing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're all over the place.
Yeah. Be consistent.
Very
establish those relationships. The whole team, from the makeup artist, the photographer, personal stylist, all that. Videographer, if you need that,
Right. And it goes to building relationships too, and just not, I think we've become, and I say we as just a society, we've become so accustomed to hitting and quitting everybody. Like, you find somebody that's good, but you want to go over here because maybe she's $100 cheaper, versus just continuing to build a relationship with the person who you're already getting great results from. You already have good energy with that person, good vibes. We've just become so accustomed. We have so many options that we don't know how to sit still sometimes and just build what we already have. And I'm so thankful to God, because it's been hard for me to find a team that I trust and people that we've just got good relationships. Like, even with my makeup artist, I have a couple of different options, locally, but, Zip is my girl. Like, I feel like she gets our energy, our vibe, she gets it. And it's not a strain, you know what I mean? And that's not to say I don't have that with other people, but for this season right now, my team is solid. Like, everybody's on the same page. And it also helps you to grow, because I know when I went to LA a few weeks ago, I told you I wanted to possibly shoot out there. So because we've built a relationship, you kind of know what my vibe is, what I'm looking for, what my energy is. You were able to say, hey, you should hit up so-and-so. She'd probably be good for you. So even if, you're going to travel, if you have a really solid, good relationship with your staple photographer, your team, they're able to refer you to other people when you want to work outside of the state or whatever the case may be. Like, it's just easier. But if we didn't have the relationship, you wouldn't know what photographer out there to refer me to.
Right. Right.
So
You're absolutely right.
it's very important. Like, build the relationships because that's how you build your brand. Like,
Exactly.
everybody's brand grows when everybody's on the same page.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what's
Y'all
beautiful.
winning.
Winning, we all winning. Like,
Yep.
everybody's winning. When K.Marie wins, I win. When I win, she wins. When
Yes.
Jasmine wins, when Zip wins, like, it's just, and it feels really good because you don't feel like nobody gets it. You know, if
Right.
nobody else gets it, they do.
Right.
so,
Absolutely.
so that's the
Absolutely.
beautiful thing. But we could sit here and talk all night
I know.
long. Let me tell you. So let me thank you for taking the time out to come and chat with me and to give my amazing listeners some insight, I guess, into our working relationship overall and, you know, how they can properly plan. Because this stuff could be intimidating for someone that may not really know what's going on. So I wanted to bring you on because you're the professional here. I always tell her that, y'all. I'm like, look, you're the professional here. You tell me.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time. Again, you guys, go download the client checklist at K.Marie.co. I will drop the link in the description as always. I will also drop her social media handle and everything. Y'all go over there and follow her and then spam her page and tell her that you're coming from the podcast so she can know that y'all are listening. All right.
Yes.
So tell them how they can learn more about you, how to hire you for a shoot if they want to, and just overall how they can connect with you.
Okay. Well, I am on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, Shot by K.Marie. Facebook, I am just K.Marie, K.Marie. And also my website, like I said, is K.Marie.co, where you can fill out a contact form if you're interested in booking a session. That's pretty much how I start the process with the contact form from there. And then you have on there as well what I offer, the packages that I offer. And if you're interested in the membership like Natasha does, we shoot once a month, you can send me an email at info@kmarie.co. Yay! Girl, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
You're welcome. It's always fun. That's like, listen. Anytime we're together talking, whatever, it's always going to be fun. Again, y'all, energy.
Right.
All right. So I hope y'all feel this is our working relationship, y'all. This is how it is when we're shooting. This is how it is, whatever the case may be. So, like, if get y'all a K.Marie. I recommend K.Marie. It's only one. So, I am willing to share her greatness because that's how we continue to grow. That's how we continue to win. So I will have all of her information in the description. Y'all go follow her on Instagram. I feel like that's where you're the most active. Go follow her on Instagram. Go like her clients' pictures. Go leave some comments and just show her some love. It takes a lot to do these interviews and to just talk about things, because like even though we talk about it with the clients, to do it in front of the whole world, it can be sometimes a lot. So I'm very extremely grateful. So you guys, make sure you review this episode, share it with all of your creative friends out there on Facebook, Instagram. Let us know what your biggest takeaways are from the show. And if you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because there is plenty more where this comes from. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will talk to you in the next episode.